Hello and welcome to the IRFU Concussion Guidelines video for referees. This video is designed to help referees understand their very important role in the management of suspected concussion. So to begin, what is concussion? Concussion is a traumatic brain injury that results in temporary impairment of brain function. Its management is so important as it can have significant impact on the short and long-term health of players if not done so correctly. Therefore, concussion must be taken very seriously. Ignoring the signs and symptoms can have serious consequences and may result in players dying, having a more serious brain injury, and/or having permanent neurological impairment. Playing on or returning to play without the resolution of concussion symptoms may expose players to risk their health and the health of other players in that game, increasing that player's recovery period, being more susceptible to further concussions that can happen from less force, a shorter playing career, and decreased on-field performance. Referees should understand their very important role in the recognition and the removal of players with concussion or suspected concussion. So with that in mind, we're going to look at the recognition of concussion by looking at the mechanism of injury and the on-field signs and symptoms. The mechanism of injury, or how it can occur, may vary. It can occur at a tackle, both legal or illegal, as a result of foul play such as a takeout in the air, from a scrum collapse usually impacting on a front row player, a collision with another player, even a teammate, a whiplash action where the head may not have received a direct impact, or quite often the referee may not have seen the incident and the player may be lying on the ground or struggling to get back to his or her feet as the play has gone on. It is important to be aware of the on-field signs and symptoms as they will help guide your decision when removing a player with suspected concussion. The visible clues can be a player lying motionless on the ground, slow to get up, unsteady on feet, balance problems or falling over, grabbing or clutching the head, dazed, blank or vacant look, confused, not aware of plays or events, suspected or confirmed loss of consciousness, or loss of responsiveness. Further on-field player symptoms can include balance problems, nausea or vomiting, confusion, headache, dizziness, amnesia or memory disturbance or seizure. So our message to referees is that based on the mechanics of the injury and the subsequent signs and symptoms is that if in doubt, sit them out. So this brings us to the removal of a player with suspected concussion, the application of Law 3.9 and the handover of care. When dealing with a suspected concussion, if a player shows any one of the on-field signs or symptoms listed, or if there are any concerns that the player has a suspected concussion, that player must be removed from the field and must not return under any circumstances. This includes matches where rolling substitutions are permitted. Players are also excluded from playing on in further matches in a blitz tournament. So let's look at Law 3.9 in more detail. If the referee decides, with or without the advice of a doctor or other medically qualified person, that a player is so injured, that player should stop playing, the referee may order that player to leave the playing area. The referee may also order an injured player to leave the field in order to be medically examined. For other potentially serious injuries such as a spinal injury, the key message is that safety takes precedence over any other aspect of the game. Don't move the player, call 999 or 112 and assist the emergency services when they arrive. When applying Law 3.9, you will clearly hand over the responsibility of a player with suspected or confirmed concussion to a person of responsibility on the pitch or sideline. The situation should be handled sensitively and in a courteous manner with all involved. A helpful phrase in this situation would be, "I am removing this player from the field of play with a suspected concussion. They now need to be monitored and should be assessed medically." Children are more susceptible to concussion, and its effects can have a greater impact on them than on adults. They may also take longer to recover. Because of this, the IRFU graduated return to play protocol is longer for children. It is also important to note that there is no head injury assessment, pitchside concussion assessment, head bin or concussion bin in the amateur game. If a player is removed with a suspected concussion, they must not return. So this brings us to the end of our video. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and we hope you found it of benefit. Further educational material on concussion can be found on the medical section of the IRFU website at irishrugby.ie/medical. The take-home message for our referees is so important. Referees must understand their important role in the recognition and the removal of players with concussion or suspected concussion. Remember, if in doubt, sit them out.